It always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Everything discussion, offence, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding it's like you think that you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is.
Those who are feeling the pinch might wonder, you earn £167,000 per year. If you need help buying your wardrobe, why shouldn't pensioners on £13,000 a year get help with their heating bills?
Well, let me tell you what I'm focused on. I was elected into government with a strong majority and mandate to bring that change. And the change that I promised, that I'll be judged on, is whether living standards have improved and people feel better off. Whether our economy is growing in all parts of Scotland, all parts of the country, United Kingdom.
And there's an election in 18 months in Scotland.
Energy up and running to develop the jobs of the future.
Will people in Scotland actually feel that their lives have gotten better within 18 months, which is when Anna Sarwar wants to be First Minister?
We've already started taking the first steps. We're getting investment in. Great British Energy already up and running and making decisions.
Has George got new glasses? Well, I think the prize goes to Steve, who spotted my new glasses. And I should just like to make perfectly plain that Lord Ali had no part in the purchasing of these new glasses, which are, and my wife and I were just discussing this, I mean, this is kind of top of the range. These are Gucci glasses. They cost £200. But Keir Starmer's glasses cost £10,000. Admittedly, it was Lord Ali that was paying for them. But Gayatri asked me, how can glasses cost £10,000 if your Gucci glasses cost £200? What are Starmer's made of? Diamonds? Are there diamonds on the legs, if that's what you call them, of his spectacles, arms of his spectacles? Is he seeing through rose colour? How is it possible for your glasses to cost £10,000?
Well, there's three things that I can talk really confidently about and take on all comers that I know about, that I could probably, I reckon I could do a good 10 minutes on these without even practicing. And that's not comedy. I'll talk about what I know, which is opinion, of course, and it's subjective, but I talk about what I know and what principles of comedy and examples. I could do comedy, obviously. Free speech. I seem to have studied that inadvertently for it always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Everything discussion, offence, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding that it's like you think that you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is. Comedy, free speech, and animal welfare. And I can go off on millions of tangents with animal welfare because that is complex. So I think the best thing, probably the first two, if I wanted to be funny as well. It's difficult to be funny with animal welfare.
Not one member of the Labour Friends of Israel has resigned as a result of the issuing of these arrest warrants. Imagine that. Not one.
Well, speaking of Labour, Bernsey says, well, let's see what Keir Starmer says now, because as we have seen, he does the opposite of everything he says. Yes, we said so. And Ravindra Bhatia says, for the younger ones amongst us, look up quisling in the dictionary if you want to get a different angle on Keir sabotage Starmer. Quisling? who is...
Quisling was the Nazi
treasurer.
Collaborator in Norway, and he gave his name to such people forever after.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I don't know what this means to an American. This might as well not be on, might it? Because it's like, I'm just sitting here talking bollocks. It's getting pretty existential now, isn't it? You'll miss me when I'm gone. I want clips of this shown. Again, when I die, I don't want creator of David Brent and Afterlife, clips from that. I want clips from this. Oh dear. I suppose you've got to do everything you can to make yourself feel good, or the things you like. Watch a box set. Watch The Sopranos from the beginning. Watch comedy. Watch Curb Enthusiasm. Watch things you like. Be creative. Write about it. Moan about it. Write a blog. Moan about it. Get things off your chest. Write things about someone's really annoying in the next bed. Make yourself laugh. Sometimes, right, if someone's annoying me, if I think of something about them, right, you know, like, fucking hell, is eating like a fat frog, right? And then I feel sorry for them, because I think, oh, that poor bloke, he doesn't know that I'm calling him a fat frog. And then I feel sorry for him, and that makes me feel better. So, you know, you look forward to better days and keep yourself active. Creativity. Play chess. Try and get good at something if you can. Yeah, take care of yourself. Just care about yourself. Get yourself feeling better. Whatever. Think what would make you feel better. Do that. That's probably terrible advice. Our doctor's saying, no, don't say that to people. Some of them are in here because they did stupid things. Some of them are in here because they used to like jumping off bridges and onto cars. Don't tell them to do what they like. But I must just say, any advice I give, don't say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in anything. I'm not a politician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. So, right. Oh, thanks everyone. Stay safe. Be nice to animals. Have a good week. Tatty bye, everyone. Tatty bye.
More than 100,000 people gathering to march in central London, a sea of flags.
Welcome to Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips. It's quite possible that the person most taken aback by the huge turnout at yesterday's Unite the Kingdom demonstration was its organiser, the hard-right activist known as Tommy Robinson. 150,000 people crammed into central London, most carrying national flags, the Union Jack, the Cross of St George, even the Scottish saltire. Protesting about immigration, about free speech, and about the decline of Christianity. There was some fearsome rhetoric, including from Elon Musk, who called for the overthrow of the British government. At the margins, there was some hooliganism. But I think that for those who oppose Robinson and his ilk, the most alarming aspect of the event was just how normal the vast majority of the marchers were. I spent an hour or two amongst them, and my own impression was that they were mostly the sort of people you'd meet in a country pub or in half-time queue for the loo at football or at a concert.
Been in Manchester of the weekend. I was stopped by countless people who wanted to talk about Epping, that said they've never protested in their life, that are coming down on trains to suddenly, on the 13th of September, to protest our government. Now, at the end of the day, The Overton window has shifted massively. The majority of people are with us on this. No one wants violence at these protests, and I condemn violence, right? We can do this.
There was a sprinkling of black and brown faces, and the event was brought to a close by a gospel group singing Jerusalem. All that must worry the traditional mass parties, Labour and Conservatives, now polling at less than 40% between them. They're draining support to parties like Reform and the Greens. And yet, a man recently out of jail, condemned as an extremist thug by most mainstream media outlets, can rally a demo the size of the entire population of Cambridge or Blackpool. A feat you couldn't imagine either Sir Keir Starmer or Kemi Badenoch pulling off anytime soon. Perhaps the people are sending us all a message. Let's see if anyone at Westminster's listening.
It is billed as a march to unite the nation, but it could be that the many thousands filling the streets of central London today emphasise also Britain's deepening divisions. They gathered under the red, white and blue, the climax of a summer of protest by those who believe they are losing control of their country.
Sooner or later we're going to be the minority in our own country, and that's scary. I mean, some of it is to do with population. We're not having as many children anymore.
Is that not a racist thing to say?
No, I don't think so.
We're right in what we're doing. If they want to call us far right, so be it. We're right, we believe in what we're doing.
I'll be honest, I'm out of my depth. I'm already out of my depth with politics. I know Trump's in charge in America. Kim Jong-un is still in charge, I think. Who else do I know? What's her name? Merkel. Is she still in charge? That's right. I don't know. Trudeau. That's it. Fuck me, that's it. That is, and I'm not even confident over some of them. Fucking hell. Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter who's in charge. They're all in it for themselves. Keep out of it. Just stay in. If the economy collapsed, it wouldn't matter if I could afford deliveries, because it would be money would be worth nothing. Would there be like marauders? Would it just go back? If the economy completely collapsed, right? No law and order, no banking system, or no politics. We're all just feral. There's a long way to go. Putin, yeah, I know Putin. This is like politics for fucking second grade.
The tinderbox summer of protest promised by activists never truly caught flame. Instead, a slow burn of nationalism, maybe more powerful for it, and this was the culmination. More than 100,000 people gathering to march in central London, a sea of flags. Unite the Kingdom was the all-encompassing slogan, drawn widely enough to mean different things for different people, whether that was free speech or immigration.
Why are they coming in like that? Surely that's wrong. Why would you? I wouldn't skip on a boat and go to another country and hop off and expect to be well looked after. But apart from that, this is just United Kingdom.
Just to stand up for what I believe in. Yeah. We're losing identity of our country, and somebody needs to stand up and fight for it.
People may have had different reasons, but they came for the same person. At the centre of it all, the anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson. None of his previous rallies had drawn a crowd this big. And what's newer too is the overt displays of Christian nationalism. When the crowd assembled, They were led in a chant of Christ as King, and then the Lord's Prayer.
Hallowed be thy name.
As the heavens opened. 4 giant screens were set up along Whitehall. Organisers said the area was completely full. When Robinson took the stage, it was more like a football match or a festival than a political rally.
We weathered the storm, and today we are the storm.
My mum has been telling me about this march, and I really wanted to go and support London.
This was certainly the largest nationalist rally in recent memory. For those here, it was not just the cap to a long summer of discontent, but the start of something bigger.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome, and you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing is great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think? I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He'd want the people to fight against government oppression and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
Elon, we are incredibly grateful for your time. We know what a busy man you are. Why is it important for you to be here today speaking at this Unite the Kingdom event?
Well, I'm of primarily British heritage, British ancestry. I want Britain to be greater than it ever has been. I want Britain to remain Britain. I think there's something beautiful about being British. And what I see happening is a destruction of Britain. Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect innocent people, including children who are getting gang raped. It's unreal. The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens, which is a fundamental duty of government. This has got to stop. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain. And the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care.
Elon, I believe that's what we've started today. Power by the people, sending a message worldwide. Elon, you spent an incredible lot of money on X. Why is free speech so important to you?
Well, I believe you can't get to the truth of things without freedom of speech, without active debate. There's so many on the left that want to just crush debate and put people in prison just for talking, as you were, just for speaking their mind. The essence of democracy is it should be a government for the people, by the people. In fact, this is a government against the people and not for the people. This is why everyone is gathered here today, is something's got to be done. This is unacceptable.
Do you fancy going into politics? No. It would be a thankless task. It would be... No. I don't know... Oh, God. I'd go mental. I'd don't have to watch what I say. because I'm a comedian and no one should take me seriously and I'm not in charge of people's lives. If I was a politician, it's the politics bit of it I don't like. If I said, what do you think? And you could do that, then it'd be fine. But it's the not being able to say the truth sometimes for an easier life or, humanitarian things versus economics. And there'd just be no question for me. Well, like, no, I'll do what's right on principle and I'll do the humanitarian. I don't give a fuck about what happens to billionaires. But that's no good. That's no good for politics. So no, I'd be shit. I'd hate it. I'd be shit. There you go. That's two great reasons not to do a job. You hate it and you're shit at it. So no.
You'd have to be here, really, to understand the sense of anger, fury, actually, that has swept the United Kingdom in just 4 months of so-called Labour government under the plank of wood that is Sir Keir Starmer, unfeeling, unthinking, clunky, completely incapable of thinking or speaking on his feet, a man who has to read every line. Who ever hired this guy as a Queen's Counsel, now King's Counsel? Who would want to pay good money for him to represent them in court? But it's not just his personal failings and shortcomings that is the cause of the most remarkable petition ever launched in the history of the British Isles. A big claim. I'm going to back it up right at this moment at 7:03 on the evening of Sunday. That is to say, just 26 hours after the petition was launched, 1,358,000 people have signed demanding fresh elections in Britain. Some fools complain about the provenance of the petition. They don't like the fact that Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are heavily prominent in it. Or the retired police officer Norman Brennan, who we asked to come on the show tonight, but he required payment, and so we had to decline. But that doesn't mean we're not right behind the petition. We absolutely are. Who cares who started the petition? It has captured the zeitgeist. No petition ever has garnered that number of signatures on a petition, and it is growing tens of thousands per hour. It's going to reach millions of signatories, and that is because of the rank betrayal that Keir Starmer is already guilty of just 4 months into his premiership. The one that rankles most with me, and about which you've heard me speak many times, is the theft of the cold weather payment allowance paid to millions of British pensioners to help them through a bitterly cold winter. It's already unprecedentedly cold here in this global warming Britain. It is almost as bad as the weather can be here in the United Kingdom. Storms, snow, -8, -10, -12 degrees in the country, and pensioners having to struggle through deciding whether they eat or whether they heat. And no matter how much they heat, given that energy bills are 4 times what they were just 2.5 years ago, they're unlikely to be able to heat their homes sufficiently. I am not short of my electricity bill, but I'm going around shutting doors, making sure no drafts are letting the heating out. Imagine if you were a poor old-age pensioner in Britain. And what makes it much worse is that Starmer knew that he was going to do this before a single vote was cast. He did not even properly study what the impact of this measure would be. And worse still, he did it for Zelensky. Don't take my word for it. Look back at the chronology. The very next day after Starmer stole the coal from Britain's old age pensioners, his Foreign Secretary, Idi Amin Dada, David Lammy, was in Kiev, promising 3 times the amount saved by stealing from the pensioners in perpetuity every year. 3 billion every year forever is what Keir Starmer has promised Zelensky. The ancient and peculiar hatred of the British towards the Russian people is a subject I'll come back to later in this monologue. But there are many other betrayals of which Starmer is guilty, and he is completely without the artifice to defend himself. He cannot find the words. He cannot find the empathy. He's launched a new battle today in the Mail on Sunday against Britain's benefit culture. But he is the recipient of the greatest amount of beneficence from private donors of any British politician in history. Just get your head round that. This man is wearing glasses, costing thousands of pounds, paid for by a private donor and not declared as they should have been. When you see him in a suit, I know he doesn't cut much of a dash, but somebody paid £12,000 for that suit, and he didn't declare that either. He has taken more freebies than any British politician in recorded history. This man who wants to make war on the benefit culture is the biggest beneficiary of them all. And we got a glimpse in the week of who might be paying in the end. You know, I predicted when he betrayed Britain's farmers at the budget by introducing a tax on inheritance of small family farms that again he must have known he was going to do, but didn't mention it during the election campaign. I knew what he was up to. And 4 days later, he was sat in number 10 Downing Street with BlackRock, who will be buying the farmlands from the bankrupted farming families that have been ruined as a result of his treachery. Huge numbers of farmers and their well-wishers, of which I am one, were in central London, firing the first shot in what is going to be a long, bruising, damaging battle for the government if they go forward with their efforts to destroy farming in Britain as we have known it for centuries. He was right behind a suicide bill. They're not even hiding it anymore. Old grannies and grandmas, if they're cold, if they can't heat their house in the winter, well, we have a solution, said the government. We'll put you in a capsule, give you a glass of sherry and a jab on your upper arm, and you'll slowly slip away. This suicide death cult that is Labour is not content with killing people in the Middle East, killing people in the Ukraine, killing people in the Yemen. They're killing our own pensioners. They're killing our own chronically sick. Rather than investing in care at the end of life, they would prefer to persuade you that you've become a burden on your family and on society and on the taxpayer, and it would be a jolly good thing if you would shuffle off quietly into this good night. He has backed a genocide in Gaza, an actual genocide. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of the world's highest court, the International Criminal Court. Take the word of the International Criminal Court, the ICC, which this very week issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, the former defense minister, sacked by Netanyahu just the other week.
Brilliant. Really, really smart. There's some smart people on the internet. There's some fucking morons as well. But such is life.
So I'm going to mention that it happened not when I was, all over the media every day in Hollywood on talk shows, introducing movies, blah, 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 and actually sleeping with loads of women. It happened when I started to talk about Moderna, Pfizer, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, right, and exploitation and manipulation at the highest level. I know that for years my promiscuity was exploitative. As a famous rich dude, sleeping around, having sex in bathrooms, sleeping with multiple people at once, using the fact that I had massive access to having sex with strangers and was doing it, that's pretty crazy and excessive. And there's no question that that is sinful, broken behaviour that hurts people. And I beg for forgiveness, and I'm given forgiveness, and I beg for salvation. But what happened in this weird liminal space is that behaviour got metastasised and reformed retrospectively into criminal conduct by competing media companies working with groups like Logically and Crisp, working with legacy media companies, collaborating in an unprecedented way in order to go back to, for years and years, talk to people like, have you got a story about Russell Brand? What about that? Well, other people have bravely come forward. What if we shift that? What if we shift this a little bit? What if we tweak that? Now it goes from, instead of being a heel and a fool and greedy, and and in some aspects of the code, a playboy, a womanizer, a gadabout, a player. It was reformed into, no, this guy's not like all those other famous womanizers that we know are out there, that sometimes have to put out injunctions, that sometimes have to pay lawyers a lot of money to keep stories quiet. No, you're in this different category here, all of a sudden, of the most appalling criminals known. All the while in my country now, there's this explosion that there are actual grooming gangs that are raping and abusing little girls and young women at an almost institutional and inconceivable level. And it appears that the media and government have repressed and ignored those stories for reasons that I find difficult to understand, but they're sort of a loose way of describing it is multiculturalism. Now, in that, Michael Schellenberger, how is it that I as an individual say, hey, listen, it was wrong that I was a womanizer like that. I don't think I'm in a discrete category away from lots of other womanizers, so I hope you're going to get to their investigation sometime down the line. I've got a list of names of other people you might want to look at for womanizing, not that I'm a telltale.
Great point. I think you're afraid of making mistakes that are undoable, or that obviously you don't make mistakes like I'm going to go sailing pissed because you go, oh, that was a mistake, I'm dead. But I think if you mean mistakes in art and trying stuff, I think that's exactly right. Like stand-up, every night I go out and I try something, you could say it's a mistake. It didn't get a laugh, so I have to change it. And it doesn't get a laugh. But it's odd to call them a mistake because it led to where you're not. If you're okay now and happy where you are, you wouldn't say you lived a life of mistakes, even though they might have been at the time, because they led to something else. Like if you want to get to the top of a ladder, you have to put your foot on the first rung. You don't go, oh, it's a mistake, I'm meant to be at the top. You go, no, yeah, you're on your way. So I think mistakes are exactly what you need to make at the time. You might not even know the mistakes at the time, and you do learn from them because you improve. So, and again, it depends on what type of mistake. If you've got a lot of money and you go, right, I'm going to make t-shirts. I've got 2 designs. You spend all your money on one design. You make 1 million of one and 1,000 of the other, and the ones that you've done 1,000 of, they sell out immediately, and the ones you've done 1 million of, you didn't sell one. Well, that's a big mistake because you've blown all your money. So I think it depends what you mean by the mistake. So, but yeah, to ease things out there and try stuff, I think that's exactly right. I don't know why we, particularly for me, like writing and doing stand-up, that's why you've got to try things out that might not work. You've got to take the silences or the groans. You're finding the funny. And it's immediate feedback. They tell you your mistake. It's evolution. Evolution, there's a very good example. All genetic mutations, they're a mistake, but they might be advantageous. You know? You just don't know. We'll see. If you survive, well, it wasn't a mistake, was it? Because you're still here.
But more importantly, what are we going to do about the morality? If indeed it is sinful and wrong to sleep around like that, what are we going to do about, like, firstly, the massive criminal, exploitative, evil grooming gangs? Let's get to that. The extraordinary number of people in politics that seem to have weird connections to or various circuits, groups and rings, whether that's around Epstein or people in Hollywood and Diddy, and that's not just people in Hollywood. What do we do about that? How do I personally handle it? And what does it tell us about our shifting culture, these tectonic plates that have moved around, and the people that get caught in the cogs when a culture suddenly decides, of course, I'm going to mention that it happened not when I was, all over the media every day in Hollywood on talk shows, introducing movies, blah, 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 and actually sleeping with loads of women. It happened when I started to talk about Moderna, Pfizer, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and exploitation and manipulation at the highest level.
About this time, the two cup final managers will be giving their pep talks. If they need any help, I've got just the man.
Managing a Premiership football club is very much like running a successful paper merchant's. Yeah? A lot of similarities. Here, I have to pick the right team. Yeah? I have to lead by example. Yeah? I have to instill trust, discipline. Sometimes we have a game of football at the back, so similar there. A manager's role at this point in the proceedings has never been so important. The players are picked, yeah? They've done the physical, they're tuned to perfection. Are they ready mentally? Yeah? Yeah? Are they in the right frame of mind to do the job? The will to win. That's where we come in. Yeah? Motivation, confidence. Yeah? And that's from the goalkeepers to the goal scorers. You've got to be boosting them. Mr. Seaman, you are the best goalkeeper in the world. No, you're not playing today, but, no, your hair doesn't look stupid. Of course, moustaches are still fashionable. Yeah? In the north. Yeah? Jokanovic, chill out. How do you know they're booing you? Yes, it hurts more when it's your own team, but, boosting them. My PE teacher, Mr. Morris, was who, got me into football because of his inspirational management technique. He was fair but firm, and unorthodox, sure. If you forgot your football kit, he didn't make you play in your underpants. He thought pants were unhygienic. No, he made you play with nothing on your bottom half. So, but fair, he was not a hypocrite. He imposed the same rules on himself when he forgot his kit. He was a bit scattered. He forgot his kit every week, though. It was, The greatest thing about football, I think, is that it is for everyone, It's not just for men. And anyone who says it is just for men is a which I hate. So, women can watch football too. A lot of players are very attractive. So not to me, I'm not, but, to women. For everyone. And if there's two teams that reflect the diversity of our society, it's Chelsea and Arsenal. Black, white, young, old, straight, gay, all in the team. I don't think there's any gays in the team, but is he? Looks so butch, doesn't he? There's a couple of guys in the studio now that prove my point. Do you think that Alan Hansen or Mark Lawrenson would have had the careers they had if they'd have had the skills, but without the discipline, without the concentration? It's not easy passing the ball back to the goalkeeper every single time you get it for 90 minutes. Yeah? They got out the game before they changed the back pass rule. So one step ahead,
Thanks to Ricky Gervais, double BAFTA winning playing David Brent from The Office.
It always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Everything discussion, offence, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding that it's like you think that you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is.
Those who are feeling the pinch might wonder, you earn £167,000 per year. If you need help buying your wardrobe, why shouldn't pensioners on £13,000 a year get help with their heating bills?
Well, let me tell you what I'm focused on. I was elected into government with a strong majority and mandate to bring that change. And the change that I promised, that I'll be judged on, is whether living standards have improved and people feel better off. Whether our economy is growing in all parts of Scotland, all parts of the country, United Kingdom.
And there's an election in 18 months in Scotland.
Energy up and running to develop the jobs of the future.
Will people in Scotland actually feel that their lives have gotten better within 18 months, which is when Anna Sarwar wants to be First Minister?
We've already started taking the first steps. We're getting investment in. Great British Energy already up and running and making decisions.
Has George got new glasses? Well, I think the prize goes to Steve, who spotted my new glasses. And I should just like to make perfectly plain that Lord Ali had no part in the purchasing of these new glasses, which are, and my wife and I were just discussing this, I mean, this is kind of top of the range. These are Gucci glasses. They cost £200. But Keir Starmer's glasses cost £10,000. Admittedly, it was Lord Ali that was paying for them. But Gayatri asked me, how can glasses cost £10,000 if your Gucci glasses cost £200? What are Starmer's made of? Diamonds? Are there diamonds on the legs, if that's what you call them, of his spectacles, arms of his spectacles? Is he seeing through rose colour? How is it possible for your glasses to cost £10,000?
Well, there's three things that I can talk really confidently about and take on all comers that I know about, that I could probably, I reckon I could do a good 10 minutes on these without even practicing. And that's not comedy. I'll talk about what I know, which is opinion, of course, and it's subjective, but I talk about what I know and what principles of comedy and examples. I could do comedy, obviously. Free speech. I seem to have studied that inadvertently for it always comes back to that principle for me. All politics starts with that. Everything discussion, offence, right and wrong, everything, fundamental human rights. So I think I can, and there's so much misunderstanding that it's like you think that you can't make any quantum leaps when you talk about that, because there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about what free speech is with the general public. It should be taught in schools what free speech is. Comedy, free speech, and animal welfare. And I can go off on millions of tangents with animal welfare because that is complex. So I think the best thing, probably the first two, if I wanted to be funny as well. It's difficult to be funny with animal welfare.
Not one member of the Labour Friends of Israel has resigned as a result of the issuing of these arrest warrants. Imagine that. Not one.
Well, speaking of Labour, Bernsey says, well, let's see what Keir Starmer says now, because as we have seen, he does the opposite of everything he says. Yes, we said so. And Ravindra Bhatia says, for the younger ones amongst us, look up quisling in the dictionary if you want to get a different angle on Keir sabotage Starmer. Quisling who is
Quisling was the Nazi
treasurer.
collaborator in Norway, and he gave his name to such people forever after.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I don't know what this means to an American. This might as well not be on, might it? Because it's like, I'm just sitting here talking bollocks. It's getting pretty existential now, isn't it? You'll miss me when I'm gone. I want clips of this shown. Again, when I die, I don't want creator of David Brent and Afterlife, clips from that. I want clips from this. Oh dear. I suppose you've got to do everything you can to make yourself feel good, or the things you like. Watch a box set. Watch The Sopranos from the beginning. Watch comedy. Watch Curb Enthusiasm. Watch things you like. Be creative. Write about it. Moan about it. Write a blog. Moan about it. Get things off your chest. Write things about someone's really annoying in the next bed. Make yourself laugh. Sometimes, right, if someone's annoying me, if I think of something about them, right, you know, like, fucking hell, is eating like a fat frog, right? And then I feel sorry for them, because I think, oh, that poor bloke, he doesn't know that I'm calling him a fat frog. And then I feel sorry for him, and that makes me feel better. So, you know, you look forward to better days and keep yourself active. Creativity. Play chess. Try and get good at something if you can. Yeah, take care of yourself. Just care about yourself. Get yourself feeling better. Whatever. Think what would make you feel better. Do that. That's probably terrible advice. Our doctor's saying, no, don't say that to people. Some of them are in here because they did stupid things. Some of them are in here because they used to like jumping off bridges and onto cars. Don't tell them to do what they like. But I must just say, any advice I give, don't say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in anything. I'm not a politician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. So, right. Oh, thanks everyone. Stay safe. Be nice to animals. Have a good week. Tatty bye, everyone. Tatty bye.
Where a communication is, as it were, merely offensive, grossly offensive, etc., then principles of free speech and free expression require there to be a high threshold and dictate that a prosecution is unlikely to be in the public interest in many of those cases.
The jam. Eating rifles. Very apt at the moment in Britain. Let's not get political. Lovely day, wasn't it? Let's get, yeah. Can't help it though, can you? Everyone's political at the moment with, well, it's not even politics, is it? It's about hypocrisy. It's about why should we do what we're told if they're not. It's as simple as that. You've got to lead by example. Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees.
Where a communication is, as it were, merely offensive, grossly offensive, etc., then principles of free speech and free expression require there to be a high threshold and dictate that a prosecution is unlikely to be in the public interest in many of those cases.
And the factors which will suggest people
might not be prosecuted include things like deleting it quickly if you've sobered up in the morning. Can you explain about that?
One thing that's very important in this area is that where free speech protects the subject matter, a prosecution must be proportionate. And when considering whether a prosecution is proportionate, the question of whether a communication is removed quickly, whether the individual expresses remorse, whether access to the communication is blocked, these are obviously relevant to any assessment of proportionality.
And will it be more or less likely for individuals to be prosecuted criminally now when they're using Twitter or Facebook, do you think?
It's not possible to say whether it's more or less likely. There simply haven't been enough cases. But this is clearly signalling that in those cases that are protected by freedom of expression, then there's a double safeguard, a high threshold, and consideration of the public interest before a prosecution will be brought.
This is my first reaction. I want to smash everything up in the house. I want to phone someone and say, whose fault is this? Right? You know when you get somewhere and it's like a tent or something, and there's one peg missing, and you think, oh, okay, I want to find the person who was talking when they put that tent together, and then someone, yeah, that's fine, sent it out. Oh, when things don't work, I want to call it. I heard this thing once. I don't know if it's true. That years ago. Marks and Spencer's, when they sort of ordered like 10,000 shirts, 10,000 jackets, 10,000 trousers, they'd open it, and if they found one that was dodgy, they'd send it all back. So those people send it out to it was their job to make sure that it was right. I agree. Why is it our job to make sure something's all right? Why isn't it checked? And same as that sign when you walk past like scaffolding, and there's like there's a sign that says beware workmen overhead, and a little picture of a falling hammer. What? So it's my problem to look out for don't drop hammers. Don't put a sign up and think, who's up there juggling hammers anyway? Don't drop your hammer, and don't put it on me. If you might walk in there, you might. Don't drop a hammer, right? That's... oh. Yeah, okay, there you go. And it's so annoying, isn't it? When something doesn't work, and it just should. It just should. Oh. I had a theory that some people make things not to work forever, so you have to buy another one. I think it's a conspiracy theory in some instances, like light bulbs, because they can make ones that last for a long time. Maybe it's not. Do you think that's true? Do you think manufacturers make things to last a year and then break, so you have to buy another one? It's a good question, isn't it? It's a good question. It's not a good question. Okay, listen. I'm going to try and bring the tone up today. It's shocking. So I'm going to get a little bit highbrow today. I'm going to get political, right? Satirical, like Radio 4 or something like that, like the MASH report or something. Something smart. So some political stuff. Okay, ready? And sort of maybe impressions, sort of political, like Rory Bremner or something. Smart, just smart shit, right? Okay. This is Angela Merkel walking past like a big sticking out of a drain. Right? Political. Right, okay. Angela Merkel. Jeremy Corbyn walking past they're all sort of meeting somewhere, and he walks past and he sees this thing sticking out of a drain, right? And Jeremy Corbyn's like this. Right. One more sort of political, satirical impression. this wouldn't work on Radio 4 because it's more visual, but definitely, I think they definitely sort of have me, or I got news for you or something. Okay, last one. Kim Jong-un, right, walking past, right. He's all sort of hyper because he's going to test a rocket later. So he's all there with his sort of posse, and they're having a right laugh. He's having a right laugh, right? And then he. So that's my attempt at more political, sort of, international politics, the big sort of questions, but slamming politicians. Any questions? No. Oh.
You wanted to divide them, you wanted to separate us. So we look divided.
We often see people pulled up online for an old tweet that contradicts their current position. And rather than celebrate that person has learned something and has changed their opinion, it is used as a massive pile-on to cancel them. Exactly. How do you feel about that? And is there anything your 20-year-old self would have tweeted that you wouldn't agree with now? I'm sure. I can't think of anything. Although I'd probably be embarrassed by my 20-year-old self trying to be so right on, because that's what most 20-year-olds are. They're trying to be. So I'd probably cringe at getting it slightly wrong, if anything. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Don't forget that sort of is purely people saying, "Look how good I must be." If I'm bringing someone down, if I'm cancelling someone because the tiniest thing they did 10 years ago, think how perfect I must be. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to get one-upmanship to make themselves look better. So yeah, it's to be ignored. And you're exactly right. If there's no value in changing and saying sorry, don't bother then. It's ludicrous. You're exactly right. People, if you find something that people was 10 years ago and now they're not, you're right. That should be applauded because they've changed for the better. But it's just people on each other to make themselves look better. Best thing is just ignore it. Just ignore it. That's what these people, they want attention. They don't care what it is. It's like these people who go on any march to windows. They don't care about the cause. It's that 5% that brings all good ideas are eventually infiltrated and ruined by a minority. The trolls of the political world.
What a feeling. Okay? Most man in Britain. All your lives didn't work. And the best thing is, we're unifying the people. Exactly what you wanted to stop. You wanted to divide them. You wanted to separate us. So we look divided. Come on. Back up, mate. Back up. Come on.
But most people are all right. If you looked at Twitter, if an alien looked at Twitter, they'd go, "We're not going there. It's mental," right? But if any aliens are watching, it's not like that. Don't think the real world is like the maniacs, the 5% crazies each other over the minutiae of nothing. It's not like that. Most people are nice, normal people getting on with their lives. Okay, if you're a big fat slug, I'm Zorgon. I go, come on, lads, come down. We're all right. We might eat you. We eat everything, so we might eat you. But apart from that, we're all right. you seem to handle your fame very well. It hasn't gone to your head, no. I was already annoying. You still care about others as much as you ever did, yeah. Who do you think handles their fame well? Who else? I don't know. Some people love it. I'm sort of better with it. I'm over it now. And also people, you know. And I never had it. I never really had it bad. When I first popped up, you know, there's a bit of a frenzy. Who is he? Where's he from? And, you know, after a big thing like the Golden Globes, you know, they come out of the woodwork again and ask questions. But most people know I'm not a pop star or a racing driver. Or, you know what I mean? I'm not glamorous for the papers. So and I don't go to places where I'm going to be bothered. I do my thing, I do my work, and then I come home. So I'm sort of fine with it. I don't fear it as much. I'm more independent. Like in the early days, I hated doing all the interviews and papers, but I had to for them to watch my show. Now I don't need to do that. I just do things I like. I've got more viewers than newspapers, you know. So, but I'm pretty cool with it, and you know, and I haven't had a bad time like some people. Some people are slagged off all the time. You know, some people caught it, of course. I never did that thing where I said, "Make me famous, then you can go through my bins." So it's not been bad for me. Who else handles it? Well, I mean, there's people that seem to love it, love the atmosphere, love the game, the good and bad. Like Piers Morgan, he's good at it because I think he evolved doing that sort of thing. You know, he's a sort of a contrarian, I guess. And you know, you've got to know that some things he means and some things he doesn't. Some things he's trolling, like being furious about a vegan sausage roll, and then other things he means, like, you know, stuff. So, but I think he'd admit he's got to be a bit clickbaity. It's his living, and I think he handles it well. I think that he knows that, you know, he's got to live and die by the. If he slags people off, they're going to slag him off. So he's got to be ready, and all you do there is just not be a hypocrite. I think, you know, be fair. So I think he handles it well. Maybe he seems to. Maybe he goes home and the wall and says, "I said what? I don't know." You'd have to ask him.
First of all, I had so much fun. It's a blessing to be able to know him. And Michael's like a king. He was like a modern day king, and we did a lot of fun stuff. I used to just, you know, I couldn't wait to hang out with him when we had a chance to. But we would do stuff like go to the movies, and Michael was so famous he had to disguise himself. And we would come downstairs. I'd be like, "Where's Michael?" Michael would be covered up like, "I'm over here, Chris. I'm here." I said, "Michael, that's you?" "Yeah, Chris." I said, "I thought we was going to the movies. You're not even dressed." "I am dressed, Chris." "I just can't go in the movies. We got to disguise it a little bit." I said, "Okay." So we go in the movies, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm trying to be secret too. You know, I'm hiding myself. Then Michael laughing louder than anybody. Everybody know Michael's laughing.
Right.
He's like, hee. I was like, "Michael, shut up. They're going to find you in here. It's going to be a riot."
Have you ever worn a disguise in public so you were not recognised? I've thought about it. In fact, I quite like the idea of it, right? Having to wear a mask and sunglasses. I always wear sunglasses anyway, and a baseball cap, right? I thought the mask would be amazing. I'll be anonymous. I walk down the street and people are going, "Hi, Ricky." So, I don't know, is my nose a giveaway? Is that big, blobby, calm? I know the mask would have been there, wouldn't it? I had sunglasses on. They must know. Oh, there's a bloke here's walking like a chimp. As Ricky. How is it? He's got chimp ability. I'm trying to get chimp ability. To walk to be cheeky, laugh like a chimp, out and walk, have short legs. He's got chimp ability. Oh dear.
We did one time. We went to a mall. We was out. Michael wanted to go to the record store or something, and he forgot he was famous. He was like, "I gotta go to the mall. Go to the mall." And we finally said, "Michael, you can't go in the mall, man. You forgot who you are." He said, "Well, let's go." And it was only thing was in the car was a Spider-Man mask. So Michael said, "I'll put this on. We'll go in and we get." I said, "Michael, you can't do that. Spider-Man ain't gonna just be walking through the mall. Ain't nobody. They gonna know it's you, Michael." He's like, "No, he won't. Chris, it'll work. It'll work." We go in the mall, and he was getting away with it until people figured it out because I was with him, and he was like, "Chris, is that Michael Jackson in that Spider-Man mask?" No, that's Spider-Man. That's Michael Jackson. All of a sudden, the mall went crazy, and they had to scoot us out. You should have seen it. It was
my God.
It was great. We had a lot of fun, though. He was great.
The only time I've thought about being in disguise, I think, is probably at something like a concert where it's a lot of public and there's drinking and you've got to be in the... So I don't worry about it at the theatre because you can get a box or away from... In a restaurant, people don't bother you. Walking around, people don't bother you. But at an Iggy Pop concert, when you're in the crowd, that's when I wish big beard. Or just someone else. Just Michael Jackson mask. People going, short fat Michael Jackson at this concert. But I've never done it, no. I also think if that people recognise you as a guy, they go, how fucking mental is that? That's Ricky Gervais in a disguise. What? Why is he undercover? Why is he? But yeah, sometimes you walk into a shop to buy pants and you wish, I wish I'd have to have a conversation about pants. But it's no big deal.